Hey everyone, and welcome back to the HyperFixd YouTube channel. I'm Juan, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy way to set up the Miyoo Mini Plus. With the holidays around the corner, you may be thinking about this device to get it as a gift for either yourself or loved ones, and I hope with this guide it'll help making it a little bit easier to set up. Let's get started. Let's do a quick unboxing of the Miyoo Mini Plus, and I'll put some links in the description if you haven't already ordered one. Here we have a little manual. We have a USB Type-C charging cable, a micro SD card to USB adapter, and of course the clear purple Miyoo Mini Plus. Here's what you'll need for today's tutorial: the micro SD card adapter that came with the handheld, and any SD card of your choice. I'm personally going with 32 gigabytes as this will be enough space for the games I'll set up today. But you can go as high or as low as you'd like, since micro SD cards are very affordable these days. Now let's plug the SD card onto the PC. Moving on to the PC side of things, I've created a little folder called Miyoo Mini with some files that we'll be using for today's tutorial. And depending on the size of your SD card, you'll use one or another program. So if your SD card is like mine and it's only 32 gigabytes or lower, you can use SD card formatter. And if it's larger, something like a 64 gigabyte, you'll use GUI format, and that'll basically help you change the format of your SD card. So if it's higher than 64 gigabytes, you'll need to turn it into FAT32, and that way the Miyoo Mini will be able to read the format of the SD card. And then of course we'll need the OS, which would be Onion OS version 4.2.3. I've gone ahead and I've plugged in my micro SD card already with the adapter, and it's showing here. So I'll go ahead and open SD card formatter. Again, depending on the size of your SD card, you might need to use SD card formatter, or you'll need to use GUI format. And it's gone ahead and auto populated my SD card in here. Is showing 29 gigabytes, and then I'll just do a quick format just in case. Okay, and I'll go ahead and extract the Onion OS. I've already gone ahead and done that. I have it right here, and so all I need to do is just copy the files into the root of my SD card. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and let that process. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and eject the SD card, and we're ready to insert it into the Miyoo Mini Plus. Now we can go ahead and take out the micro SD card from the USB adapter, insert it into our Miyoo Mini Plus, and turn it on. After we do that, it should trigger the installation of Onion OS, and all we have to do is pretty much just wait until the setup is done. Give it some time and let the installation finish. It took about 5 minutes for mine to complete. Once the setup is complete, it'll give you a little overview of the features and hotkeys. Finally, we can move on to adding our handhelds and consoles that we'd like in the system to play. I'll be picking MAME, which is arcade. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo. And finally, PlayStation 1. And the great thing about Onion OS is that it'll pre-configure all of the emulators, so all we have to do is just add our games and we're pretty much ready to go. Once we go ahead and confirm all the emulators that we want in our system, we'll pretty much finalize everything and the system will reboot. And we're pretty much done with the setup and ready to play after we add our games. Once the system boots up, we're greeted by the main screen. Here we can pick favorites, games, apps, and settings. Let's take a quick look at the apps, which is where we'll be able to switch our handheld theme. Here we have a few different options and can even download new ones. My personal favorite is the Onion Boy, which gives it a really nice retro look. With this themes, you can change the way this handheld looks and sounds when interacting with the menus, and it's a really nice touch that lets you make it your own. Now, when we go on to the game section, we can see all of the handhelds and consoles that we added earlier when setting up the OS. But as you can see, we have no games. Now let's go ahead and do a quick tutorial on how to add games. It's very simple. Let's move back onto the PC. Now let's add a quick game to our newly updated Miyoo Mini Plus. Once you plug in your SD card to get into your system, it'll show up as Onion and the version of Onion that it's running. You'll see a whole bunch of folders now, but there's one labeled as ROMs, and that's the one that we want. And you'll see the different consoles that you decided to select when setting up Onion OS. And depending on the type of ROM that you're trying to include, you'll have it in certain formats. And here I'm just looking to add a Super Nintendo SNES ROM, which I already have copied, and all I have to do is just drop it in the folder. And once we plug in the SD card back into the Miyoo Mini Plus, it'll automatically read it, and I'll show that here shortly. Now after adding the SD card into the Miyoo Mini Plus and booting up, we can go back into the games and Super Nintendo, and we can see that our ROM has been added. You can pretty much do this with all the other ROMs. And it's as simple as just finding your ROM and dropping it into the corresponding folder, and you should be pretty much ready to go. Thank you all so much for watching this video. This is my first tutorial, so if you guys have any feedback or questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.